Hey gang, so we've covered the idea on my tutorial series before of performing antispins, or more specifically, what we call four-pedal antispins with staff, which generally involve the hand moving around in a circle while the staff turns the opposite way. And most specifically, we see that the thumb end and the pinky end each are essentially going back and forth across a straight line across the body, right? For example, in this arrangement right here, my thumb end is going back and forth across a horizontal line that's about at my shoulders, whereas the pinky end, that is the white end, is moving along a vertical line that's basically flush with my right shoulder, yeah? Now, there is another interesting type of anti-spin that is the same number of beats, but that approaches the idea very, very differently and basically requires the hands to move in a very different way too. And this is a type of motion that is called a cat-eye. And cat-eyes are cool because they're one of the few types of double staff movements that we get that really squarely give us round instead of straight shapes. Staves, of course, by their very nature are straight and, kind of rigid and everything. And a lot of the shapes that we get out of them are likewise kind of straight and rigid. Of course, notable exceptions being things like isolations and the like. But cat-eyes take the idea of anti-spins and apply them in such a way that we get a very long, narrow oval or an ellipse out of one end of the staff. And through the magic of post-production, I will show you exactly how that happens by showing you that, which is a horizontal line that is very narrow. It's no wider than my staff is itself. But it's very, very helpful because rather than being the length of two staves, which would be the horizontal line I'm going across when I'm doing a four-pedal anti-spin, with it being only one staff length across, it means that all I'm doing is having one end of the staff trace back and forth across that line, right? Haha, tricky. Now, this is going to mean that the other end of the staff is going to wind up doing a very, very wide, narrow ellipse around it, and that my hand essentially is just doing a straight up and down line, if you want to follow the progress of my hand on this one. You could think of it as being almost that I've kind of changed the arrangement of some things here, and now my hand and thumb end are essentially doing the same thing that the two ends of the staff would be doing in a four-pedal anti-spin. And because I have had my hand and the thumb end of the staff take those positions, now the pinky end is able to trace a very different shape around this particular trick, right? So ways that you can practice this, number one is to imagine that you have that straight line going back and forth across your shoulders, and to say start with your staff even at your shoulders, and imagine that you're going to let that thumb end come across to the opposite shoulder, and your pinky end is going to drop down and around as that's happening. Basically, your mission is to keep that thumb end at your shoulders the entire way across until you can come around to where thumb end's over on the right shoulder and the pinky end's over on the left shoulder right here. What you do next is, it can be a little uncomfortable depending upon how you perform it, but what I like to do is I like to do kind of an elbow reach. That is, I'm going to let that pinky end go up, and as my thumb end is traveling back towards my other shoulder, it's going to essentially go through this little bit of negative space between my forearm and my head, like so. So again, I'm going to start right here with my thumb end over at my left shoulder, and I'm going to let it move over to my right shoulder as the pinky end goes down and around it. And now I'm going to pick the pinky end up and have my thumb end go in between this little hollow between my forearm and my face, and come out against my left shoulder, yeah? So it's to the right shoulder, and then to the left shoulder. It's to the right shoulder, and then to the left shoulder. It's to the right shoulder, and then to the left shoulder. And truth be told, if I can just keep that in mind, the pinky end is totally going to take care of itself, because unlike the thumb end, it doesn't have to do any really weird, uncomfortable reaches, right? So once that's settled, it's time to do things like, say, beginning to learn how to perform this in together same time, like so, where you're kind of passing the staves across your shoulders, like that. Another great one that you can do from that position would be the staves in split time opposites, like this. And the cool thing about this one is that we're kind of doing it in such a way that the two staves are kind of poking over your shoulder at each side. So there's some nifty kind of body mechanics that come into that. Or, we could learn how to do this in, split time same direction, like so. Really, it's just a matter of where you want to take it. Now, the operative question is, why would you want to use this trick, aside from the fact that it looks kind of cool? One real practical reason is say, when you're doing these 4-pedal antispins right here, where I have my thumbs in towards the middle, what if I want to switch to an arrangement where instead it's going to be my pinkies in towards the middle? Like, for example, I like to have my pinkies inward if I'm going to be doing something like a 4-pedal an 8-pedal antispin, for example. In order to do that, one of the easiest ways that we have to do it is actually to do Cateyes out on the side of your body, which is a much easier reach than the one we just did, I'm afraid. Because here you don't have to do that weird reach over your shoulders, right? You can just go straight back and forth like so. You have an option here. You could do a cap instead, go isolation and then antispin, isolation and then antispin. But I think the Cateye looks just as good. And it covers the same part of the flower, so, why not? Come back, have my 8-pedal, and I'm good to go, right? Yeah, so Cateyes, good time, fun way to explore antispin in a way that breaks a little bit out of the straight lines that we usually play around with double stabs. So I highly recommend them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back with another tutorial for you in 2 weeks. Peace. This video right here exists thanks to the wonderful support of these folks right here. They found me at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and were kind enough to make a contribution to continue my efforts to create educational flow arts content for people all over the world. If you or someone that you know has learned something from one of the videos that I've put out there, please consider going to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi or DrexFactor.com/support and making a small contribution to helping me continue this effort, putting out educational videos to people the world over and teaching them about the love of flow arts. Thank you in advance.